My phone vibrated against the marble table.
Once.
Twice. Then again. I watched the screen glow in the quiet Swiss afternoon. Unknown caller. I ignored it. Outside the glass wall of my villa, the mountains stood perfectly still, their white peaks cutting into a cloudless sky. Silence lived here. Clean, expensive silence. The phone buzzed again. And again. By the time it stopped, the call counter read 11 missed calls. I finally opened the messages. Photos flooded the screen. A ballroom, crystal chandeliers, gold banners that read Annual Community Charity Gala.
Had a gala.
My mother-in-law's voice message waited beneath the pictures. I pressed play. Her tone carried the same sweetness she used when poisoning people politely. Security said some. Janitor tried to enter earlier, asking, "About the donor list." "Disgusting. I told them to tighten the doors." A pause, then a quiet laugh. "Honestly, some people don't know their place." My jaw tightened. Because 3 hours earlier, I had been that janitor. Black uniform, mop cart, head lowered, invisible. The disguise had been easy. Watching them was easier. Watching my daughter-in-law laugh beside her. Watching my son shake hands with politicians. Watching them celebrate money that didn't belong to them. Money they believed came from some mysterious international benefactor. I placed the phone down slowly. Another call came through. Then another. The counter climbed. 19, 24. Something had started. And they still had no idea who was holding the knife. The insult itself didn't surprise me. People reveal their nature when they think you're beneath them. And my mother-in-law, Margaret, had always needed someone to stand on. 5 years ago, she welcomed me into the family like a trophy. A successful international investor. Quiet. Private. Useful. But something changed after my wife died. Suddenly, the whispers started. "You're not really part of the family anymore. You should let Daniel manage the finances. You don't understand how charity events work." Slowly, carefully, they pushed me away. At first, I thought it was grief. Then I noticed the smaller details. Bank transfers moving through accounts I didn't authorize. My daughter-in-law, Rachel, managing charity funds that passed suspiciously close to her personal investments. And Margaret hosting glamorous events using anonymous donations. Donations that came from a shell foundation I quietly funded. My foundation. They didn't know that. They only knew a foreign benefactor funded the gala every year. They never asked questions. Greed rarely does. Last week, Rachel called me. Her voice sharp with the arrogance of someone who believes the ladder belongs to them. "Thanksgiving dinner is for family." A pause. Then she laughed. "If you want to join, come wash the dishes." The line went silent. I didn't argue. I simply replied with one word. "Enjoy." Then I booked a flight to Switzerland and scheduled something much more interesting than dinner. The investigation took patience. Fortunately, patience is the only skill wealth truly teaches. I hired auditors who specialized in charity fraud. Quiet people. Invisible people. They found things quickly. Inflated vendor invoices. Fake consulting fees. Luxury purchases disguised as fundraising expenses. Rachel's signature appeared on most of them. Margaret approved the rest. Daniel, my son, looked the other way. Maybe love. Maybe cowardice. Maybe both. Then we traced the money. Small amounts siphoned at first. 10,000. 20,000. Nothing noticeable. But over 5 years, the total reached $2.8 million. Money they believed belonged to some distant donor. A stranger. They never imagined that donor was the man they told to wash dishes. So I prepared something special for the gala. First, I scheduled the foundation audit report to be delivered to the charity. Board at 8:45 p.m. Second, I requested the Swiss property. Photos to be published online through a financial magazine interview. Timestamp 8:40 p.m. The headline read, "Anonymous donor behind city charity. Revealed as international investor living in Swiss villa." My name beneath it. My photo beside the mountains. Simple. Clean. Devastating. At 8:50 p.m., my phone started vibrating. Relentlessly. 31 calls. Then 44. Then 58. I didn't answer. Not yet. I poured a glass of wine and watched the snow move slowly down the mountainside. Patience. At call number 63, I finally answered. Rachel's voice exploded through the speaker. "Why are you in the magazine?" I let silence stretch between us, long enough for panic to grow teeth. Then I spoke. Calm. Measured. The foundation interview? Yes. Her breathing shook. They're saying you're the donor. They are correct. Silence. Heavy. Unstable. Then Margaret grabbed the phone. Her voice trembled with forced politeness. This must be some misunderstanding. No, I said quietly. The misunderstanding lasted 5 years. Another pause. Then I added the part that shattered them. The charity board just received the audit report. I could almost hear the ballroom collapsing behind her. Glass clinking. Voices rising. Rachel whispering something frantic. Margaret's breath turning sharp. You're lying. No. I leaned back in my chair. They're reviewing $2.8 million in fraudulent expenses. Her voice dropped into something raw. What have you done? I looked at the mountains again. Snow drifting peacefully across the valley. Nothing, I said. I simply stopped protecting. The calls kept coming. But I ignored them all except one. Daniel, my son. His voice sounded smaller than I remembered. Dad, please tell me this isn't real. I closed my eyes briefly. For a moment, I almost felt something. Almost. You signed the approval forms. I trusted Rachel. Yes. Silence swallowed the line. Finally, he whispered, they're saying the police might get involved. They probably will. Another pause. Then his voice cracked. Why didn't you warn us? That question almost made me laugh. Warn them? After the phone call, after the dishwashing joke, after the gala security shoved me out the back door because Margaret said janitors didn't belong. I did warn you, I said softly, when I told Rachel to enjoy Thanksgiving. He didn't respond, because he finally understood. This wasn't anger. This was calculation. By midnight, my phone had rung 71 times. I never answered again. News reports started appearing online. Charity investigation. Financial misconduct. Board suspensions. Margaret's smiling gala photos replaced with courtroom speculation. Rachel's social media suddenly private. Daniel silent. I walked outside onto the terrace. Cold air filled my lungs. The Alps stretched endlessly before me. Untouchable. Clean. Far away from their noise. For years they treated me like an outsider. A stranger. A man useful only when his money arrived quietly. Now they finally knew the truth. I was never beneath them. I was simply watching, and the funny thing about people who believe you're invisible is that they never see you coming. I looked down at the silent phone, then turned it off. Some debts are paid with money, others with silence.